أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعلني وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Inshallah, we're going to continue with the fruits of belief. We were discussing the two verses when the pages are spread out. Quran section 81 verse 10, and then the explanation of that particular verse, how this next verse was, he is the first and the last, the evident and the inward, which is section 57 verse 3. And we talked about how these qualities, these names of being the first, the last, evident, and the inward explains this particular verse when the pages are spread out. Because by just reading when the pages are spread out, we need to understand what pages, what's being, we need some further explanation. So alhamdulillah, the guidance tells us the first, the last, the evident, and the inward, and it goes into how each and everything is preserved, and mentions the divine preservation, talks about absolute knowledge. In terms of the example we were using is of the tree. At this initial stage, it's a seed, and then the one who brings it about shows all these names at the same time: the first, the last, evident, and the inward. Knows the outer shell of the tree, of the seed, the inner aspect, as well as how it started and where the next stages will be. And the same thing with the tree example, how it was initially like a seed, and then it went on to be a tree, and then what the fruits and what stage it would get the fruits, the physical structure, as well as what's going on inside the tree. And same thing for the human beings. We can see all these names: the first, the last, the evident, the inward. In my being also, how I started, what happens, the events I went through in my life are all known. What I will go through in the next few stages are also known by the one who gives me existence. He knows my outer external being, my inward, what's going on within my body as well, and then the evident and so all those qualities are preserved, the evident and the inward. Yeah. Anything anybody would like to add? So we'll continue with the example of the tree. I think we'll start here. Then the end of the, inshallah. So then the end of the annual tree of the earth. So we were discussing the spring and different seasons that happen, winter and spring. And then in the spring, there is that demonstration in front of our eyes that we see all those seeds and plants, everything just flourishes. And we have to really wonder and ponder over that, because we are conscious beings, and we have been given those tools and qualities to actually wonder and be amazed at the things and decipher, like, what does those signs point to? So all that demonstration points through the infinite power, justice, wisdom, and mercy of a glorious and munificent preserver. Then the end of the annual tree of the earth is, in the second autumn, it's depositing in those tiny containers all the duties it has performed, all the glorifications it has recited, before the divine names in accordance with its creation, and all the pages of its deeds, that it will publish the following resurrection of spring. So going back to the analogy of the spring and the tree and how each and everything in autumn season, when things are dying, everything is kind of being wrapped up. All the duties is getting away from all those duties that was charged with. And all the pages of his deeds will be published in the resurrection of spring. It's handing them over to the hand of wisdom of the glorious preserver and reciting the name of he is the last before the whole universe in innumerable tongues. It's handing them over. So all those pages of deeds, whatever has been accomplished in terms of the choices that we make, or in terms of the tree, but however it's been handled. That's the analogy, but we can take it for our human beings also. Is handing them over to the hand of wisdom of the glorious preserver. I mean, it's preserved. We spoke about why does he need to preserve the owner who is giving us existence. He has no need to preserve anything. Right, we made a point about that, I remember, in the last Sunday meeting. It's an interesting question to think about, right? Does he need to preserve anything? But so it's all for us, for the demonstration for us to understand. That's why we see the signs. So it's for our need to realize and see that that there is a preserver. Preservation is going on, and there's a preserver, and we are accountable, and everything that we do, or our choices, will be published at the resurrection. And reciting the name of he is the last before the whole universe in innumerable tongues. Reciting the name of he is the last before the whole universe in innumerable tongues. So each and every being, creation has their own way of speaking and communicating. So all those trees and spring recite the name of he's the last before the whole universe. Is there the reason like why before the whole universe and reciting the name of he is the last? I mean, it's witnessed by every being, everything. Each creation is declaring at the next stage, I'm made by this. This is what I've done so far.
It's not only to the tree example limited. So the creator of the universe is manifesting in everything. He is the last. It means nothing can really go before it. Always he is the beginning, he is the last, everything is under his control. But he is everything is created by him, and the created beings are limited in time and space, but he is beyond that. How much we cannot imagine. Beyond that, we cannot really describe it.
Okay.
Yeah, the point is knowing or realizing that he is the beginning, he is the first. It means he starts everything, he is the last, and he ends everything, but he is the one who decides about the things to come into existence. So he is beyond the limitations of created world. That's what I understood presenting before the whole universe in innumerable tongues. You can imagine everything is coming. For example, our yesterday is gone, but the creator who created yesterday is still present in today's existence. And we know that he will be present in tomorrow's existence because we cannot really explain the existence without referring to his act of creating.
Definitely.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
It is this kind of these four names: the first, the name, the last, and the evident one. The apparent side of the appearance of the things, and also inner side of the things, created beings. It means it is beyond these limitations. Everything is under his or within his control, but he is always beyond it. We cannot really imagine any space and time to describe the creator. That's why it is important, I think, to know.
Beyond space and time. Yeah, for the manifesting the first, the last.
It must be beyond space and time, because everything is really started by him, ended by him.
Yeah.
Whatever the perspective we have.
It's very interesting.
Inside also, for example, inside means let's go into the very deep particles. Still, he is the creator of the particles. That's why he holds on. He holds. How did you say? Yeah. The hands of
handing them over to the hand of wisdom.
Yeah.
It's handing them over to the hand of wisdom.
Handing them over to the hand of wisdom of the glories. It means if you go deeper and deeper and deeper, you cannot come to the end, but you will find that the point you came is decided by the one who exists before the end. And also at the larger macro level, you see the outward, for example, if you look at a human being, you see in the form. This form is decided by the one who is beyond the limitations of this form.
Correct, yeah.
So you can expand it everywhere, even in a cell, in the existence of a cell, or also existence of the universe. Expand it, you will find that he is there. He is always before and after, inner and outer.
Always.
Yeah. Inner than what we see is a very fine micro world. Outer than what we find macro world. Must be so.
Must be, yeah.
No, because everything it must be given certain qualities by the one who created them. Because I cannot make my form. Yeah, I cannot make the small pieces, the parts of my body, my cells, everything by myself. They are all made. So, for example, if you take some parts, laptop, take the laptop and some parts. The engineer must be before the parts and after the parts, and knowing inner side of the parts and also general appearance outer side of the part. It means you cannot put the engineer within the limitations of the machine
itself. Correct. Yeah.
No, it is a completely different existence. It's interesting why God keeps saying that I am the first, I am the last, I am the evident, I am the inward. Why does it say that? That you cannot put me within the limitations of what I created. You cannot imagine it.
So it's defining absolute,
Yeah, we have absolute. Yeah.
I think it's a good way to look into it because that's how we read creation, like with the sequence of things. And so this is helping us conclude the absolute.
Yeah.
First, last,
So,
inner, outward.
The one who made this universe must be an absolute.
Alhamdulillah. So let's continue.
But in between, we see not only beginning of the universe and end of the universe. No, whatever exists in the universe, every time, every moment, you see that he is the first, he is the last, he is the evident, he is the inward, outward, whatever you said. Inward, evident and inward, outward. It comes before, is the maker, is the creator. At every level.
That's interesting.
So the universe is not only one example in its entirety. Every part of the universe is an example of his being absolute, beyond the limitations of everything. It means beyond the limitations because we cannot imagine him within the universe and we cannot define him with the qualities of the universe. It means he is at a completely different level of existence. But we know he exists. Yeah. We don't know his essence.
Yeah.
You always use the expression, not knowing the essence of something is different from knowing or making sure that this thing must exist. The existence of believing in concluding in the necessary existence of something is different from knowing his essence. That's what the Quran also describes. You don't know ghaib, but you believe in ghaib. There's a simple argument, maybe it's logical trick. If I don't know something, how can I believe in it? That's what the normal materialist people think. Since I don't know the creator, I don't see the creator, how can I believe in it? Yeah. That is the difference between knowing and believing.
And such argument become irrational then, now if you think about it. From a logical perspective of observing the universe. So there must be a necessarily existent one. And
there must be.
Right, yeah. Not of the nature of
conclusion.
Right.
Yeah. But for example, I don't know the essence of the engineer of this machine, but I'm absolutely sure, no doubt, there must be an engineer. That's so simple.
Yeah.
But the materialist, great philosophers couldn't solve this problem.
They're like, if I can't know it.
No. Not because they couldn't solve the problem. They don't want to acknowledge it. That's their intention. They are looking for an excuse not to submit their existence to a higher being so that they will be responsible before him. They don't want because their egoistic tendency doesn't accept that they can be accountable to someone else. They are great people. Why should they? They know everything. You don't know. They know. That is the pride or arrogance. Actually, I don't know when we talked about it. I know in one of the discussions we talked about it. Where was it? Maybe
Saturday morning.
Sorry?
Was it Saturday morning discussion?
Maybe. The reason, I think Saturday morning, the reason for unbelief, for denial, is not that it doesn't make sense. Belief doesn't make sense. Arrogance.
Not accepting the change because you. Right.
Arrogance. I want to be independent. So I don't want to accept anyone. You can see some people say, when they want, they get out of their control, and arrogant people, they don't want to acknowledge the law. They become anarchists. Although law is there, the authority of the state or the power of, police or justice system is there because they don't want to acknowledge it. What they do, they rebel. They deny. They are called anarchists. So I would call, we can, I think, easily call these people, not they don't know that there is an administration, state, and justice system or whatever. Yeah, they don't want to submit it. That is what arrogance means. They don't want to submit themselves.
So rebellion means there's arrogance.
Yeah, I mean, unbelief is the result of arrogance. Not that they don't see the sign, they don't see any reason.
Yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge it.
Okay. So the evident face of the tree is by its opening 300,000 universal sorts of blossoms, which demonstrate 300,000 examples and signs of the resurrection of the dead. Also, so many signs. And is spreading out innumerable tables of mercifulness, providence, compassionateness, and munificence. All the bounties that we benefit from, the fruits, vegetable trees, flowers, and it's offering banquets to living beings. It's reciting the name of He is the evident, with tongues to the number of its fruits, flowers, and foods. He is the evident, with the tongues to the number of its fruits, flowers, and foods, and offering praise and laudation, and showing us clearly as daylight the truth of when the pages are spread out. Interesting take on how when the pages are spread out, using the universe of seeing the names of He is the first, the last, the inward, the evident, each and every stage, moments that we are experiencing, especially the major changes as in spring, all the different fruits, flowers, and foods is a reference to when the pages are spread out.
Something, when you think about, for example, you have a project in your mind, and accordingly, I don't know what it is, but you have it.
Mm-hmm.
I say, okay, demonstrate it to me. You make something according to your, whatever the project you have in your mind.
Yeah, I listed down.
It becomes evident.
Evident, yeah.
Yeah, that is what happens in the universe. Everything has in its potentiality, whatever they have, especially living beings, DNA written there. Just some codes. But what happens? The one who creates it brings it out, and here you are, a tree and a fruit and a flower and all the qualities. We understand that as in the example, what you had in your mind is apparent now. And what God really inscribed inside the seed or cell, human or animal cells, inscribed there, everything, it becomes apparent. He is the one who brings that secret into apparent. No one can.
That's true.
Like the example, you have something in your mind. Example, this is just a simple example. So you bring it out, and I cannot bring it out. You bring it out and presented it. So what you say, you are the owner of the essence or whatever is written there.
Whatever's
you are
presented,
the owner of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the work is out there. It is under your control, and you made it.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, you gave it existence. But it's an example.
Example, yeah.
Yeah, that's an example. You gave it. So I cannot describe you in terms of the work you presented, you demonstrate. Yeah, you are a different person, and it is a machine, for example.
Yep.
That's the evident.
He is the evident. Yeah. So all those demonstrations shows He is the evident.
Yep.
It's like, The interface of this majestic tree, the interface of this majestic tree is a cauldron and workbench, running precisely and in orderly fashion incalculable numbers of regular machines, and finely balanced factories, which cook thousands of pounds of food out of 1 ounce and offer it to the hungry.
Purposeful action. Not I mean, I can do something but which has no result, no protection, nothing useful. But the creation is like that. Everything has a purpose. Here, the food is created out of dirt.
Yeah.
And also, how do you say, tenure also?
Manure or
No, manure.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. So I love it, this kind of, when I think about it, reflect on the creation, it is so ridiculous. The ugliest thing
the disgusting
turns
things,
out
yeah,
to be
in my
more
opinion.
tastiest food.
Yeah.
If you use artificial manure,
Yeah.
but artificial manure, it's not that tasty. Must be animal. The most disgusting.
Yeah.
Turns out to be perfect, delicious.
Interesting. Yeah.
That is magical, really miraculous. It is really miraculous, demonstrating that the matter, the materials employed there cannot ever be the source of the existence of the result. Impossible. Contrary to each other.
Yeah.
Nature was on the, I mean, you see the earth, dirt, manure,
Yeah.
and beautiful, delicious orange or mango.
Interesting. Yeah.
Purposeful. Nothing accidental, nothing just arbitrary action, demonstrating just the power for nothing. Yeah.
MashaAllah. So the interface of this tree. So it works with such precision and balance that it leaves no room for chance to interfere.
Oh, impossible.
Precision and balance that it leaves no room for chance to interfere. Like some angels who glorify God with 1,000 tongues, with the interface of the earth, it proclaims the name of He is the inward in 100,000 ways and proves it. So what is the it? So with the interface of the earth, all this demonstration of the way the tree is and the workbench, that's what's going on within the tree. All those miraculous things happening.
Mm-hmm. And he is
the demonstration.
making it realize. He is creating it. Somebody is creating
it.
Otherwise, can you imagine the dirt is turning into a pineapple itself?
It's amazing.
Accidentally. Ridiculous people, really ridiculous mind. I'm really convinced that the reason for denial has nothing to do with reasoning. No, it's just completely emotional.
That's interesting.
Yeah, emotional. And of course, denial is just arrogance. But belief, the nature of belief, not only emotional, but based on reasoning and concluding must be, we say must be, the creator, there must be a creator, the creator must have this and this and this qualities. Look at the work he's doing. And then emotion comes there, human feelings that, yes, I need a master like this. That is the one who is the absolute one, can satisfy me, no one else. But the others start with emotional arrogance and concluding that I am independent. I have no creator. With no base. With no base. But the belief works in the opposite direction. First, you reason. And then conclude. There must be. And then your heart, the Quran says heart, your feelings say, yes, that is what I need. Mm-hmm. It is a completely different process. One of them is based on bias. The unbelief is based on bias, pre-assumption attitude, pre-assumed attitude. Belief is based on just open, free. Let me think. As a human being. Yeah, use my human qualities. But I cannot trust anything else than my human qualities. Therefore, I have to take it as my human qualities lead me. That's why Quran says, for the denial, it says, bring your evidence. If you are really true in your claim that God, to believe in God doesn't make sense, oh, as if he is speaking on a scientific base, facts out there. If so, bring your evidence that manure is the source of existence of pineapple. The design, the color, the smell, nothing to do with the material is used there. It's nothing to do with it.
Evidence
is important.
Yeah.
So why Quran challenged the disbeliever to just disclose their biasness, this prejudice, and also asking the people or the one who reads the news or the message of the Quran, you have to believe based on evidence. Yeah, that is a news for me. My belief must be based on evidence, because the deniers are challenged with the lack of evidence they have. It means belief must be supported with the evidence. That's what we can read the Quran for ourselves. This is the challenge of the unbelievers. But for me, I have to have my evidence. That is why belief, the process of belief, works in a contrary direction as the process of denial works. It is interesting. Actually, we have to be aware of this, because people keep saying that in a simplistic way, oh, belief has nothing to do with reason. Reason doesn't understand. Now, a small, limited reason. If my reason doesn't understand, how can I come to a conclusion? And the Quran says, no, bring your evidence. Evidence must be what? Really palpable, experiential, maybe there is another word, substantial, that not a speculation, not feeling, not saying that I have an impression that, no. It is obvious. The machine has an engineer, that's obvious. Evidence. Parts of the machine cannot make itself into a machine. So simple. There must be an engineer who organized it, designed it, and made it accordingly.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So name of he is the inward, 100,000 ways and proves it.
Yeah.
Just as in
Not
respect,
only the outward appearance of the tree or fruit, whatever, but as it works within itself, they call it chemical reactions going on there. Also, these chemical reactions are realized by the one who creates it, not the matter itself acting. And they say, if you put this matter next to each other, it reacts. But they don't know what reacts anything. They are created in this way. They need a creator. And this is the inner side of the matter, which is controlled by the one who creates it.
all right. Just as in respect of its annual life, the earth is a tree and makes the divine preservation within these four names a key to the door of resurrection. The earth is a tree and makes, so on macro level, on a bit larger scale, the earth is a tree and makes the divine preservation within those four names a key to the door of resurrection. So the first, the last, the inward, the evident, as a key to the door of resurrection.
Maybe to understand that resurrection is necessary.
Yeah.
I think it's a key to understanding that the resurrection is necessary, because when the universe finishes, or my life comes to an end, it doesn't mean that everything comes to an end. No, there is somebody who gives an end to it. It means he still exists after I die.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean? Then he must be able to give me another existence, because it exists after I die. So as he gave me existence before I was born, then I can say I was brought into existence by something else. And when I die, I was given death by something else. This something else, before my birth, after my death, still exists. And human feelings witness that, there must be, I desire eternal happiness. So it necessitates for me that the one who gave me this desire must create it. And he can, because he still exists after I die. And if we can expand it, he still exists after the universe dies. Must be so. If you really think about the change in the universe, yesterday's universe died, but still the one who gave it existence still exists and demonstrates even his existence by creating today's universe. Everywhere, I mean, there is no way to escape to believe in God and to believe the necessity of resurrection. We cannot really find an excuse at all. But this one seems to be, no, nothing seems to be so obvious. Just look at the evidence that is important. What is going on in the universe? Why the atheist people are speaking with a challenge? Why do they do that? How can they do that?
Yeah.
Because those people who believe is not presenting their belief on evidence.
Yes.
So they say, this is our religion. I believe in God. There must be so. I mean, we cannot say that there is no reason at all. But by looking at the universe, everybody can easily conclude that there must be a maker. Come on, it is not a joke at all.
Yeah.
It's a serious matter. Universe is a serious matter. Yeah, okay, believe in God. But further, for other pillars of belief, is not presented based on evidence. It means evidence manifests in the universe.
Yeah.
After I believe in God, and I say, okay, religion must be true, because belief in God is the fundamental teaching of every religion. I mean, every monotheistic religion. I mean, the others are not religion. Those traditions, let's call them, which doesn't really believe in God, they're not religion. That's a way of understanding one's life in one way or another. But religion, when we say religion, means really established, presented to us by the creator of the universe. Now, every religion says, yes, if there is God, my religious tradition must be correct. Look at this limitation. My religious tradition is correct. Muslims say Islam must be correct because belief in God is correct. I'm convinced. Christians say, yeah, Christianity is correct because God exists. I believe in God. Jews say, etc. Hindus say, yeah, in a way, they say also they believe in God. That's what we hear. So, belief in God made us lazy to investigate the details of this belief, extensions of this belief in God. If there is God, what does it mean? I am dying. What does it mean? I have to think about it. If there is God, so I feel that I can do everything in the world as I want, but at the same time, I cannot change the order. I cannot change and do anything without obeying the order. It means belief in Qadar is taught to me. It is true. How? The way the universe is created, operating. Believe in Qadar. The angel, of course, the universe is meaningful. Don't you communicate with the universe? Don't you love the delicious food? I love it. So you are communicating. You are connecting yourself with the food out there or with a beautiful scenery, or if someone really praises you something, you get smashed. You know? Yeah, you are, it means we are always in connect with the outer world through our emotions, through our feelings.
Right.
So it means everything has meaning in its existence. It means angels must be correct because the universe must have an angelic side. Universe is not a lump of matter, meaningless. No, the way it is created always really emits meaning, you know, or converses meaning to me. And I'm communicating with them. So the one who creates the universe in such a way that contradicts my expectations at the same time, although corresponding, but ultimately I need eternal happiness. But universe says, no, I cannot give it. But I said, yes, you matter cannot give it. The matter cannot give me eternal happiness, correct. But the one who is the inner, who is the outer, who is the first, who is the last, the owner of the universe, creating the universe in this way, demonstrates that only I can give you this. So this news comes from, as a response to my expectation in the form of speech, says, yes, I will give you, to assure me. So through the prophets, etc. What do I say all this? We have to speak with the evidence we are experiencing in the universe, as God says, it's a beautiful context, actually. If you study the previous verses there, and concluding this, you will understand that all physical examples, evidence, physical evidence has been preserved, sort of presented Before this verse, let's say somewhere around 10 verses, lists all these challenges or challenges that unbelief is not true, belief is true, in presenting the way the things are created. And then concludes, those, if you don't believe in it, it's a very explanation, it's a very interesting, Ilahun ma'allah, is there any God that you can really communicate with and have a hope or believe in other than Allah? Qul hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqin. That is the conclusion. But he asks, the Quran says, use your reason, man. Can there be any God other than the one who created the universe? Can you find any sign of any quality in anything which can be the creator of the universe? Ilah, it means divine being who really gave existence to it or gives existence to itself. Is there any? It is that, the structure of the language is there any way that there will be a being who has the quality of creating divine quality other than the one who created the universe, which is undescribable, of course, absolute? Asks this question and then says, if you say there is, show me that anything in the universe which has the quality to create. It's very, we say that reasoning is always rejected by the imitating people, imitating their religious tradition. Christianity denies, Judaism denies, Islam doesn't deny, but Muslims deny. Unfortunately, why? We believe in the Quran. Without Quran, we cannot come to reach the truth. Yes, we can. Quran says go and come to the truth that there is a creator, there is a resurrection, definitely, and there are angels, and determination of everything is by the one who created the universe, Qadar. And there is a message also to you. I sent to you through a human being, the prophet. And in this message, I made everything clear. Yes, you can now understand what I am saying is true under the evidence of what I am doing out there, accessible to you. I am not accessible to you physically, but my work is accessible to you. That is how do you say this? Rational completeness, concrete reasoning is inside the teachings of the Quran. And we believe that, we claim that we believe in the Quran and saying what Quran says opposite. Why? Oh, we cannot trust our reasoning. If I cannot trust our reasoning, how can I know that the Quran, what Quran is saying true? I'm not trusting my reasoning. How can I know that what the Quran says true? Well, the Quran says reason about me.
Yeah.
Quran says reason about me. I say I cannot reason. Because I believe in the Quran. Look at the contradiction.
I believe in God.
No, I believe in the Quran is my book. Quran says, use your reason. I say, I cannot trust my reason. And claim on top of this, I believe in the Quran. But the Quran says otherwise than what you are claiming.
Use your reason.
Yeah.
It is just but under the name of pure belief, pure submission. Whatever Quran says, I accept. I accept. Of the Christians say, whatever Bible says, I accept. We say, oh, look at these people. They claim that Jesus is God. How? But when you say, you claim that I believe in the Quran without reasoning, how?
Same thing.
The same thing. What is the difference between the Christian theology that we blame, we reject, than what I'm doing? That is why Islam says, use your reason, come to the conclusion, and then I will give you the news how you evaluate this conclusion, how you utilize this conclusion. I will give you the guidance on after you are convinced that I am true. And then you will see the guidance, you say, oh yeah, really, really. And then the guidance comes there to help my mind, my feelings, and I will feel fully satisfied about everything that I'm given, especially the expectations of the feeling. Now, this works mutual, but at the same time, reasoning comes first. That's why belief is the result of reasoning, conclusion. That's why belief cannot say, I know God. Belief only says, I believe in God because he must exist. But he must exist means what? My conclusion. How do you conclude? As a result of your reasoning. Through looking at, go and examining the evidence. That is why the universe is out there. That is why God bothered to create the universe and put me in it and said, and here you are going to reason. You are going to take this one as evidence, my work. Now, because I cannot know the absolute, but I know the work he presents to me because it is accessible to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the horrible situation of us Muslims.
The common situation right now, yeah.
Because the but the Muslims are expected to do that. The Christians and Jews cannot do it because their source doesn't allow them to use their reasoning. Jews said you are a chosen people. That's it. You are children of God. You are super people. That's their main. Christians said Jesus is the representative of God on earth. Yep. It's then one aspect of God. Different languages they use, doesn't matter. And they don't have really, they never encourage reasoning. They always say, because it doesn't make sense what they say, their theology says, they say it is a matter of faith. It means you shouldn't use your brain, your reasoning. And what happened now? The area, or the, how do you say, the scene is left to Muslims. Muslims also turned into Christian theology, and I mean, the way of the Christians claim, it's a matter of faith, we believe. It looks a great word, but stupid, really. And then, now the arena is empty. Materialist people, their interpretation, pretending to have an evidence out there. Just look at the universe, how they work, and the universe works, and say, we know the source of existence of the universe. Well, what is it to do with it? Now, I know how the machine is working. It doesn't mean that I can explain the existence of the machine by itself. No, it is that evidence pointing to the necessary existence of its engineer. That is your logical conclusion. Unfortunately, we denied logic, but let's say 21st, 900 years ago, logic is just dumped into garbage bin. in the Muslim world. Generally, of course, there are exceptions. Generally, but exceptions are very rare, very rare. After the 12th century, very rare exceptions. But it's a historian. I don't want to go there. And this is still continuing, unfortunately.
We need revivers of the
Here it is.
this book.
That's
Yeah.
what we are reading here.
Are there any exegesis or interpretations that are reviving this particular?
I mean, yeah, but
This one is good, I know, but
yeah, this is to me. This is the only accessible source for me to get the revival or to receive the revival. That's what we are reading. That's why we keep reading this guy. Well, somebody may say that you don't believe in the prophet, you believe in Nursi. They may say, because that you always read these books. We need guidance in order to get out of this dump, the swamp of getting lost in the tradition.
yeah.
Okay, that's it, man.
Inshallah. Yeah. Okay, so where are we?
Where are
Okay, yeah. Just as in respect of its annual life, the earth is a tree and makes the divine preservation within those four names a key to the door of resurrection. So, in respect of its worldly life, it is again a well-ordered tree, whose fruits are sent to the market of the hereafter.
Oh,
Market of the hereafter.
yeah, market of the hereafter. They will be presented to you. Yeah.
It is a place of manifestation of those four names and mirror to them so broad. A place of manifestation of those four names and mirror to them so broad, and road leading to the hereafter so lengthy. Our minds are incapable of comprehending and describing it. So they're talking about the hereafter, which is a place of manifestation of those four names and mirror to them so broad, like in not the manifested, not the material manifestation form.
Practically,
Yeah.
Practically, if someone understands that the creator must be the first, the last, and the inward and the outward evident side of everything, so we must come to the point to bring the subject of resurrection into the or on the table. Why? Because belief in God without resurrection contradicts my belief in God. Now, did you see that? See this one? Who are they? If there is somebody on them for an evidence, yeah. Belief in God necessitates resurrection. Belief in resurrection. If there was no resurrection, belief in God is the source of torture for me. A wise man, the absolute one, created the universe, but he is making me at the end into a dust. Nothing. What a cruel creator. Isn't it? Giving me the desire for eternal happiness, but putting me in turning me into dust and nothingness. I'm not anymore conscious of my being, etc. I become nothing. How can I live in this world while I'm believing in God, who is the absolute one? Because the first, the last, and the inner, and we said that meant the creator must be absolute, beyond the limitations of any imagination or any example in the universe we see. So it means must be absolute. If he is absolute, what now it comes to my feelings now. The absolute one created me, and I don't want to die. I don't want to lose. I don't want to really be separated from my beautiful experience of this existence. So what's going on? And definitely comes, look, as the text is going to study preservation, everything is preserved, giving me the news through the way he creates. I am the one who is the preserver. Don't you see? Nothing goes into nothingness, always preserved. Tree dies, but the seed includes, it is essence in it, if you like, essence of the tree. And written there, everything throughout his life story. It means the one who creates the fruit. Although tree died, the one who creates the fruit is guaranteeing that he is preserving. Don't worry about the death of tree. Guaranteeing. So what we understand from here, that definitely the one who creates the universe must be absolute. If he is absolute, therefore there must be a resurrection. Otherwise, the universe will be meaningless. The absolute cannot be unwise, contradicting himself, giving me the desire for eternal happiness, satisfaction, and turning me into nothing to become nothing. It is just unwise, contradicts. So if someone doesn't believe in God, believes in God, and hesitates about resurrection, he must be crazy. Well, if there is no resurrection, this God is not God at all. He's a torturer, sadist torturer. Gives me the desire, loving my health, loving my youth, loving my experience in this world, beautiful experience in this world, at the end turning me into nothingness. Torturing me, even I'm living here, thinking of my nothingness in the future, turns my life into a poisonous life. Torture. Can you imagine? Without resurrection, the existence will be meaningless, which is just which contradicts the reality of this universe, that everything is meaningful, obvious. That's why I believe in God. Necessitates believe in the hereafter, under the evidence of the way the things are created. Okay.
Okay.
Preservation, we are going to come.
All right. Any comments by anyone so far? I think we're at time right now. So, as the hands of a weekly clock, which count the seconds, minutes, hours, and days, resemble each other and prove each other. And one who sees the movement of the second hand is bound to assent to the movement of the others. Now he's talking about understanding the hereafter and describing the example of as the hands of a weekly clock, which count the seconds, minutes, hours, and days.
The experience in this world,
time
right?
is
day and night.
Yeah.
The Quran refers to day and night. Many times.
Yeah.
This is what really this example of the resurrection. Look, day is gone. Oh, afterwards, what happened? Night. Night is followed by another day. Showing me seasons. Spring is gone, summer comes. Summer gone, it turns, and the spring again created out of winter. Or it means, look, your existence is an evidence that you will be turned into another form. That is what I'm doing always. Yeah.
So the days which count the seconds of this world, which is a vast clock of the glorious creator of the heavens and earth, and the years which count its minutes, and the centuries which shows its hours, and the ages, which make known its days. All resemble and prove each other. So too, the name of preserver and those of he is the first and the last, the evident and the inward, inform us through innumerable signs that as certainly as the morning of this night will come, informs us through innumerable signs that as certainly as the morning of this night will come, and this winter spring, so will the everlasting spring and eternal morning come of the dark winter of this transitory world. Thus, answering with the above truths, the question of resurrection concerning which we asked our Creator. Yeah. So confirming all the, based on our experience here, the time goes, and then the new day comes, night comes, the hours, the ages, centuries pass. So they're not going into non-existence. They all matter. They all are preserved because they're showing the name of the first, the last, the evident, and the inward. All that evidence, all those signs are right in front of us. So we should not be lazy, inshallah, to live with the understanding, with all the faiths, all the pillars of belief, starting with the fundamental of God and the angels, books, prophets, and hereafter divine determining. Inshallah. I think we can stop here for today. And then we'll start next week.
Actually, next paragraph starts with very exciting what we have been talking about. Also, since we see with our eyes and understand with our minds,
reasoning, eyes, physical,
see and then reason about it. Use your mind, man. From the beginning, end up with your feelings. Conclusion really settles down in our feelings. We will be just convinced. Rational satisfaction is not really belief. Belief is the certainty, full conviction. How do we reach the conviction? After we satisfy our feelings. That's why the wisdom scholars said, Iman takes place in the heart. It means it's a conclusion. That is the one who is really puts the stamp on it. I am sure what the belief requires. What belief is, I am absolutely sure. That is why that is the last destination. But in order to reach that last destination, you settle down there. You have to take the road of eyes and minds. Inshallah, next week.
Inshallah.
To be continued.
Eyes and minds.
Inshallah.
And then it goes to our feelings, from the eyes and the minds.
It is very interesting.
Not from our feelings to and then that's imitation, basically, by reading the Quran and then just saying that I understand, I'm convinced in my heart, that's just.
That is the last step.
That should be the last step. But it should not be we have to go through the eyes and the mind. Inshallah. We'll discuss that. Thank you, everyone. Inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum